Rabbi say, let's take a look. Tonight we want to discuss the Indian of saying the bracha of Shehecheyonu during the time of Bein HaMeitzarim between Shabbos and Tammuz and Tisha B'Av.
Two people or one thing?
Two. The Mechaber Shulchan Aruch says. The Mechaber Shulchan Aruch says in Siman Tafkuf and an Aleph, Toiv Lizayin in the middle of the page, where in the top in the middle, Toiv Lizayin Toiv Lizayin Miloi Shehecheyonu Bein HaMeitzarim. It's better to be careful not to say the bracha Shehecheyonu and Bein HaMeitzarim, whether it's al pri on a fruit or al malbush on a clothing. On a pidyon haben, if someone makes a pidyon haben, one should say the Shehecheyonu, and he should not push off the mitzvah.
What about if somebody puts out the phone for the first time?
No. We don't make bar mitzvah Shehecheyonu. I'm not all kehilas, but our kehilas we don't make. Some kehilas I think do. Sfardim do make Shehecheyonu?
And what?
By the bar mitzvah.
You just said Baruch Shebetoranim Yonsho Shel
Right.
The first time.
No,
Not
the boy,
only by
not the
grace.
father.
Only by grace, right?
By grace,
We don't. Sfardim do.
right. We don't do it mikatzara de yenuka because the baby's pain, but a lot of kehilas do say it. Now, L'maisa, the Ramah adds on Hagah, the notes from the Ramah, v'chein befri, as well a fruit, shelo yimtza achat Tisha B'Av, if you will not have this fruit available after Tisha B'Av, because it will spoil and it won't remain, the new fruit, mutar levarech, u'lo'eicha ben HaMeitzarim. You can make a bracha, Shehecheyonu, and eat it Bein HaMeitzarim. Now, but you say, what is the reason for this? What is the reason for this Indian of not making a Shehecheyonu? We're going to see in the
Shehecheyonu, maybe it's Simcha.
Shehecheyonu is the Simcha or the Pri Chadash and the Malbush. It should say Aser. Good question. It should say if the issue is Simcha, we should say just like we don't hear music during the 3 weeks,
Right.
we're Mamayit and Simcha.
Yeah.
So we should say don't buy a new fruit or a new clothing during this time. It doesn't say that in Shulchan Aruch. It says don't make Shehecheyonu.
That means, let's say I bought it a week ago, before 2 weeks,
Right.
and now I want to start wearing it middle of the... No.
Right.
I think
So
it's
ma-
understood because you can't say that if you chayiv to make it, if you have a new clothing, you chayiv to make Shehecheyonu. So you can't move out to la halakha because of samina.
Right.
So it's just understood that what he really means is that it's best not to buy new clothing.
Correct. But what happens? Why shouldn't one make the actual bracha Shehecheyonu itself? What's the problem? You can buy new clothing and make it. What's the issue? What's the reason for the whole din?
And don't wear it. And don't wear it.
No, the whole reason Toiv Lizar Milem Shehecheyonu. One should not say Shehecheyonu.
That's what I'm saying. That when it says Tovla Yizahir Shemilama Shehecheyonu,
It means not to buy a new fruit and new clothing.
Not to buy anything new in the first place.
No.
And bring yourself to say Shehecheyonu.
If the issue is the Shehecheyonu itself, we'll see. The Magen Avraham explains. That what do you mean when you say Shehecheyonu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lizman hazeh?
You happy?
I'm thanking Hashem that He brought me to this date. What's this day?
This moment.
What's this day? These days are not good days.
Happiness.
This is not good times. These times are the 3 weeks, the Bein HaMeitzarim. Hashem should bring us Shehecheyonu, should bring us to a lot of other times. But to this time of Bein HaMeitzarim, Zeina Chanami, you have a Malbush Chadash, you're happy about it. And that's why he's saying, Hashem brought me to this occasion, I was able to buy this new clothing, this new beautiful suit and kapata, a bekeshe. But L'maisa, there's also the Zman Hazeh of not only the fact that you bought the new Malbush or the new fruit, also the Zman Hazeh, the day that you are in. This time is not a good time. So therefore, the source of this comes from Sefer Chasidim, from Yehuda Chassid. And one should not make Shehecheyonu in times. Now, however, if one is chayiv to make it, we see from the Mechaber and the Ramah, if a pidyon haben happened, you have to make it. Like he said, well said, just because it's better not to say it, if you're chayiv to say it, you have to say it. So only don't bring yourself to be chayiv.
Situation to be chayiv.
Exactly. Don't obligate yourself. However, if you're obligated, you're obligated. You can't push off the chiv to say the bracha Shehecheyonu. So, if you have, for example, if someone's wife gives birth to a baby girl, the bracha which is said is Shehecheyonu when you have a baby girl. A boy you say Bein HaMeitzarim, and a girl Shehecheyonu. So if his baby, he has no choice. If his wife gives birth during the Bein HaMeitzarim, he has to say the bracha Shehecheyonu. Just like Pidyon HaBen.
You can push it till after.
Not only that, the Ramah says that the fruit, if you're not going to have this fruit available after Tisha B'Av, it's going to be spoiled. You can't hold it. You have to make the bracha now. Let's take a look. We'll discuss a few things. How, about making the Shehecheyonu on Shabbos or not. As well, we'll see some who argued with this din in general, and they felt you could make different interesting svaras. Not only in Shabbos, they felt b'chlal you can make during Bein HaMeitzarim and Shehecheyonu. Let's take a look. Number one, let's take a look on the Taz, on the left side of the page, where it says Yud Zayin, in the parentheses. That's the Taz. The right side is the Magen Avraham, the left side is the Taz, where it says Yud Zayin. You see? Here. The line before the wide lines. Yud Zayin in a parenthesis. V'chein b'pri sheli yimsa. Nira, it seems, from this very reason itself, that a fruit is not going to be available after Bein HaMeitzarim, then you should make the bracha now. For this very reason itself of the Ramah, we can deduce that every single day of the Bein HaMeitzarim you should allow to make a bracha. Why? He says maybe someone, you don't know, a person does not know how long they're going to live, so you have to chaparai in every mitzvah you could do, every bracha. So just like we say that if you have a fruit available now, you should not, and you're not going to have it later, you shouldn't push off the mitzvah because you have to say the bracha. Similarly, he says that svara should apply to every single day of Bein HaMeitzarim. Nira demitam zeish lahater b'chol yoyim shebein HaMeitzarim.
Mitzvah abba li'adcha al tachmitzena.
The Shema Yamos Ha'adam Koidim Shekayim Tzu. Person can pass away before he has Chas v'Shalom, before he has the time to do this mitzvah. V'shemaiti svara zu v'shem harab Mereina Rav Yosef Katz Mikraka. He heard this svara from some Rav Katz in Kraka, who told him this svara. So he said, Kol Oimer Davar B'Shem Oimrei. He said who he heard it from. V'yesh raya lazeh. And he, the Taz, wants to bring a raya to this svara that he heard. Mimashakoswa Toisis Parakelu Magalchin. Toisis and Meid Cotton says, Beis Yosef brings it, Hevi and Beis Yosef and Simon Tavkum V'hei. The Shari Lichtov Kol Davar Hashayich Lebezdin B'chol HaMoed. One is allowed to write anything. A Bezdin is allowed to write whatever they need to write on Chol HaMoed. You're not supposed to write on Chol HaMoed. To have a Davar Ha'avud, it's considered Davar Ha'avud, right? We know Davar Ha'avud is mutter on Chol HaMoed, something which is going to be a loss. Derech klal malachas ha'asar on Chol HaMoed, but there are different heterim when you're allowed to do malacha. One of them is the Davar Ha'avud. If I'm going to have a loss from it, incur a loss, so I'm allowed to write. So they set over here, the same is a loss if the Bezdin doesn't write it down. Why is there a loss? To have a Davar Ha'avud pen yamos hanoisin or eidim Bezdin. Maybe someone will pass away. If it's not written down, how will we know that what the edus that was given, or whoever gave something? Everything needs to be recorded. So maybe the giver will pass away, or the edim, or the bezin. So it's considered a davar avod. So we allow you to write a chol hamoed. The zelvas achs of the taz, missing out a mitzvah is the same thing. If for bodily necessities, for the guf, we're makel on Chol HaMoed that you should not lose money. But tzarechei gavoya, last is bracha mikol shekin. When it comes to tzarechei gavoya, things that have to do with Hashem, chaparai and another bracha Shehecheyonu, a person should not lose himself. This is mamash hadavar ha'avad. So he learns out shemeshav zeh yemaher l'kayim kol zman shechel l'kayim. A person should do whatever you could. Kol zman you hear, chaparai, chatoif, achil, chatoif. You see, eat and drink as much as you could. Torah mitzvahs chaparai.
In other words, even if that fruit will be okay after it's over. In other words, he got it fresh, let's say, towards the end of the, let's say, Bein HaMeitzarim. So he shouldn't wait till afterwards. He should make the bracha on it now.
Correct. Even though he's going to have it later, but we're shiloh if he's going to be around.
Right.
The fruit will be around. The Taz says, the Ramah said the fruit might not be around.
Yeah.
I have another issue. Are you going to be around? So this is a...
Nobody guarantees.
Over Sefer Chasidim, Simin Tata Mem, Hitil Aval Shehecheyonu B'Shabbos. Then he brings down that Bechlal, the Sefer Chasidim, himself allows you to make it on Shehecheyonu on Shabbos.
Which Shabbos is talking about? The first
During
one
the Shabbos, the Shabbosim of Bein HaMeitzarim.
The first one or all of them?
This the Magen Avraham is going to discuss in a minute.
That's the Shabbos.
This Shabbos, upcoming Shabbos, the next Shabbos.
Upcoming Shabbos and in December, the Shabbos that was.
So the Shabbos before, that's a question because it's a nidcha, right?
Right.
So the Magen Avraham is going to say that over here he holds that there's no machloikis. There is a machloikis whether Shabbos you're allowed to say Shehecheyonu or not, according to the Machmirim. Taz b'chalal is meikol. But according to the Mechaber and the Ramah, the Shulchan Aruch is machmir. Machloikis of Shabbos, yes or not. Even according to those that say you should not make the Shehecheyonu on Shabbos.
That Shabbos, yes.
That Shabbos, yes, because it's a nidcha. It's pushed off. This past Shabbos.
I think by Minhag Chabad it says you could make Shehecheyonu on that Shabbos.
We'll see soon in Chabad. Let's take a look Shehecheyonu on the Magen Avraham. Here.
Better not to, but you could. Sometimes.
On the right side, the right column, we have the Magen Avraham now. All the way to the top of the page where it's Mem Beis, the letter Mem Beis on the right side. The big letter Mem Beis. Miloymer Shehecheyonu. Brings the Magen Avraham, Ube Shabbos Shari. On Shabbos it's mutter to make the Shehecheyonu. From the Sefer Matei Moshe, B'Shem the Sefer Chasidim, the Lavosh, and these Sfarim held its mutter on Shabbos. Over Kisvi Hari, the Arizal, also Afilu B'Shabbos. Al Pi Kabbalah, even Shabbos is also to say Shehecheyonu. V'nidali, it seems to me, says the Magen Avraham, Timchal Shavasar V'Tammuz B'Shabbos. Shavasar V'Tammuz fell on Shabbos like
this year.
Yeah.
Right. V'nidche, it's pushed off to Sunday. Mutal Kula Alma, everyone is moide, you're allowed to make a Shehecheyonu this past Shabbos. You're allowed to take wear a Naya Bekeshe, or a new suit, or take a new fruit on Shabbos and make the Shehecheyonu.
The thing about Arizal,
Yeah.
I hold that first of all, it's not a Kabbalah. Just the fact that Arizal said it doesn't mean that it's a Kabbalah. It could be that he was just studying a halacha opinion.
Okay, we have to see what he says.
Now listen. So, in the Talmud, so Rabbi Shimon was the author of the Zohar, but the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon. So when Arizal made a halacha statement, that doesn't mean the halacha is like him.
Well, that depends whether you follow Kabbalah or not.
No, but I just not
If there's a machloikis against the Gemara, but and a chanami, if there's a machloikis against the Gemara, but if there's no machloikis against the Gemara, then it could be we follow Kabbalah.
No, but I just said that the fact that the Arizal said it does not mean that it's al pi Kabbalah. The Arizal was also a halacha.
So then it's like a paisik, like so. There's a machlekes and paskim.
Yeah, okay. So the halacha was not like the Ari.
How do we know who the halacha is like? It's machlekes.
Because there's no source in the Talmud for this thing about not saying Shehecheyonu.
Well, that's not the Arizal was not mechadish that. That's already.
No, apparently he was. Okay.
No, the Arizal only said on Shabbos it's aser. The idea of not making Shehecheyonu is based on Yehuda Chassid. And it's based on other Rishonim. The Maril, other Rishonim bring this up. The Mechaber and Shulchan Aruch says it. V'tama Isser, the reason for the Isser, Nidali, the Kivan Shadazman Hu Zman Peronius. Since this time is a time of Peronius, retribution. Ein Levarach Shehecheyonu Lizman Hazeh. You shouldn't say Shehecheyonu Lizman Hazeh, that Hashem brought us to this day. It's not because of avelus of an avel. We don't find anywhere that an avel during Shiva is not allowed to make a Shehecheyonu. We don't find this. So it's not because of avelus. It's because of this time. By similarly, we don't make a bracha during Sfiras Omer, the same thing, because the Talmidei Rebbe Akiva were nifter, and that's also, Rabbeinu Yerucham, one of the Rishonim writes that these days, the days between Pesach and Shavuos are Yemei Din. The reason why the Talmidei Rebbe Akiva passed away specifically in this time is not only because of their actions, but because this time of the year was a days of judgment, was a days of Gvura. So this is not a day. These are not times that we say Shehecheyonu v'kimanu liganu lizman hazeh.
Just saying, it's the bracha,
It's the amiras habracha.
It's the amiras, the
Correct.
nusach of the bracha
Correct.
itself. Meaning, if we didn't have the bracha, which was kaveh on getting something new or something, there wouldn't be a problem with it.
According to most places,
Sorry to my turn.
there is a mahalach to say that you're still not allowed to buy, let's say, a new clothing, a new suit during this time, because that itself makes you happy.
Right.
But this over here, we're not discussing that. We're discussing just the actual nusach of the bracha. There's a problem with the nusach of a bracha. We don't want to bring more of these days.
Right.
We don't want to be mamshech any more of these days.
Right, the new thing is a besondere Zach.
By buying a new clothing, lamaisa, it's not so clear, the issue of buying. Lamaisa, if you're buying something new which really makes you simcha, you're anyways going to be chayav Shehecheyonu, which you can't make. So it's really, but.
There's a machlokes also when you make the Shehecheyonu, when you buy it or when you wear it.
Right, so we make kapayel when you wear it, and also by fruit when you eat it.
Right.
Now, we'll see about this now in the next thing. Let's look at the next two Magen Avrahams. Mem Gimel, liyachmetz mitzvah. You should not hold back from doing the mitzvah pidyon haben. We said if someone has a pidyon haben, don't push off the pidyon haben just because he can't make a Shehecheyonu. Liyachmetz mitzvah. Same thing too. Oy habracha. He brings from the Maril, one of the Rishonim, don't push off the bracha either. You don't say, let me make the pidyon haben. Three choices: push off the pidyon haben, push off, say Shehecheyonu, or make the pidyon haben and don't make the Shehecheyonu. It says no, don't push off the pidyon haben. We see in the Mechaber, but don't push off the bracha either. You do the Shehecheyonu. The halacha is, it does not say in Gemara that when you eat a new fruit you make a bracha. It says when you see a new fruit you make a new bracha. The seeing of it makes a bracha. So l'chora, how could I be that I see the new fruit, I don't make the bracha? Afagav sheraya pri chodesh machmitz bracha. You're machmitz the bracha. Mikol makin kiven shenag v'lahant l'shas achila nak mikar machmitz bracha. In Dinei Brachas is explained, even though al pi din, you're supposed to make the bracha when you see a new fruit. Just like you see the new trees, you make a special bracha. When you see new fruit, make the bracha Shehecheyonu. However, the minhag is that we wait until before we eat it, because we don't feel so much simcha today when we just see new fruit. But we feel the simcha more when we actually eat it. So therefore we wait till make it, and it's not considered being machmitz the bracha, because that's the minhag. So it's not considered pushing off the bracha, because that is the time that is kavua for it, api the minhag.
If you have two new fruit, can they make Shehecheyonu one after one?
No, one for both. Yeah. Mem dalet. Shelo yimsa. The Ramah had said that someone who has a fruit that won't be around by after Tisha B'Av, he's allowed to make the bracha during Bein HaMeitzarim. Now there are those that we brought before in the Magen Avraham, it's a machlokes hapoiskim, whether or not you're allowed to make the Shehecheyonu on Shabbos or not. According to those that are matter you to do it on Shabbos, so why shouldn't you just hold the fruit up until Shabbos? Wait with the fruit till Shabbos. If someone has a new fruit, according to those that allow you to make the Bircha Shehecheyonu on Shabbos during Bein HaMeitzarim, so just wait. You have the new fruit on Sunday, Monday, hold on to the new fruit till Shabbos and make it on Shabbos. According to the Matirim on Shabbos, you're allowed to make it on Shabbos. We must be talking about a situation where it also won't be available on Shabbos. if you'll buy it in the week, v'yishmereu l'Shabbos, you'll save it for Shabbos, yiskankel, it will be spoiled. Kigoyin gives examples of different types of a type of fruit that will be ruined. I don't know which type of fruit this is, but
we have to the refrigeration.
Good gadaniyot.
Daniel.
I don't know what it is, but l'maisa, it's not an issue today yet with refrigeration. Everything, it's not an issue.
Then they didn't have anything,
right? But for the material on Shabbos, in a chanami, you don't wait for after Shabbos, up to Shabbos. As long as it will last till Shabbos, you have to wait till Shabbos. But if it won't last till Shabbos, you have a chiyuv to make on it during the week, not to lose out the bracha.
But if you keep it for Shabbos,
Yeah.
it'll be Onyx Shabbat to make the Shehecheyonu on Shabbat. It's more Onyx Shabbat, more Simcha,
but
more happy.
you'll spoil.
Well, if it's going to spoil, you can't wait.
No, if it's not spoiled.
Not spoiled, you have to wait for Shabbos.
You have to.
Because you're not allowed to make Shehecheyonu during Bein HaMeitzarim. I
Unless we go with the svar of the Taz, right? That you just do it right.
Right.
away.
And I want to tell you something interesting. B'chlal, the before we get into the Vilna Gaon, the Gra also held that you're allowed to make the Shehecheyonu. He also held you're allowed to, like the Taz. Not based, he had his own reasoning why you're allowed to array, that you're allowed to make Shehecheyonu during the Bein HaMeitzarim. But so him and the Taz are both mekel. Before I get to that, he brings up, the Gra brings up, in another piece of the Gra, he brings up a very interesting Gemara Yerushalmi, that from there you see the importance of not pushing off a Bircha Shehecheyonu on a fruit. And then he brings like a chizuk to the Ramah that says that you shouldn't wait. Now take a look on the bottom of the second page. In the bottom of the second Amud, we have a Talmud Yerushalmi Soif Kedusha, mamish the last lines of the Gemara Yerushalmi Kedusha. Rav Chizkiya, Reb Koyim B'Shem Rav said like this: Asid Adam Litin Din Cheshben Akol Masharas Einay V'Le'ok. When a person's going in a Haba, a person's going to have to give a din v'cheshben anything his eye saw and he didn't eat. You saw something, you didn't eat it, you're going to have to give a cheshben. You should have eaten it.
It's tough.
Rabbi Lezer was another one of the Amirayim from the Shalayme. Chashash lahadash moasa. He was concerned about this statement. Umatzmiach lepritin. He would save up prutos. He would save up his pennies. Ve'achil b'hoim b'chol mila chada b'shaita. He would eat
Once a year.
of every b'chol mila, every type of thing, every type of fruit once a year. Every type, you make sure to make a Shehecheyonu, whatever you could. Every year, whatever fruits were available during the seasons of the year, once a year you have to make a bracha on every one of them. So you chaper as many Shehecheyonus as you could.
Like a pirate's teach.
Yeah. By the way, it's the Gemara Kedushin itself, the Yerushalmi does not say that the reason clearly is because of Shehecheyonu. It's actually very cryptic, Yerushalmi.
It doesn't say Paris. Who knows? Maybe it means pizza. I don't know.
Right. It doesn't say. It doesn't say Bein HaChanami. The Noisei Klei Yerushalmi, some of them explain that this is the reason, because of the Shehecheyonu. He should have used out opportunities to bench Hashem for things in the world. Agav, I want to tell you that once the Rebbe said a interesting sikha, and he spoke about the fact that on one hand you find in Torah that nedarim siyagla prishus, that making nedarim vows is a good thing. It brings one to separate from Elam Hazah, stay away from indulging in Elam Hazah. On the other hand, we find another Mishnah that says that Torah, is it not enough for you what the Torah asked for you? Torah asked for you already a lot of mitzvahs. 365 leisa says. You want to add more? So the Chazals are steer with each other. As well, we have the Gemara Yerushalmi that says that mamish, it's not an inyan to hold yourself back. It's an avera to hold yourself back. You're going to give a din v'cheshben if you didn't eat.
In Bavli also it says Nehanesa Me'olami. They're going to ask you Nehanesa Me'olami when it comes to
Not for everybody the same. So a person has a problem in a certain area, for example, he overindulges on wine, so he has to go to the opposite extreme. A person who doesn't have a problem,
So it's taking it a little bit more of a ruchnistic oifen. So the Rebbe explained like this, that it depends what type of person you're dealing with. If you're dealing with someone that the oilam hazeh won't bring him down, it won't bring him down. Indulging in oilam hazeh won't bring them down. A tzaddik is someone is on the level that he wiped out his yitzhara. David HaMelech, it says, "Hargi b'tainis v'libi chola mikirbi." My heart is a vacuum inside. It's hollow. What does it mean? It's hollow. It's hollow from the yitzhara. He had a heart. It wasn't hollow, right? It was hollow from the yitzhara. So with all his tainesim and all his tshuva, he killed out his yitzhara. So a tzaddik doesn't have the yitzhara. For him, it's an aveda not to partake of things in hazeh, because he have an inyan that he should mile and uplift things in hazeh. But someone who's not on the level of a tzaddik, his involvement in hazeh only brings him down more and more. It's not a good thing for him, because the more you eat, it makes your yitzhara starker. Your nefesh of ham is stronger, and eventually it can bring out the things which are awesome. So it depends on what we're talking about. The darim segla prishos is a general. For all of us, it's important to put limits on what we have a connection with Elam Hazeh. Not everything that we want we should have. Kadosh atzmacha v'mutalcha v'mutalach. Mashe'en kein atzadik. Don't be moist if anything. We want you to be involved in the hazeh. Kol masharasa eine v'layachal. A tzaddik's going to give a din l'cheshbon. He should have eaten it. He had a chance to be mevarer and he didn't. I'm sure there are other biurim.
The person doesn't have the yitzhara, so he has no period. But what's his purpose of fulfilling this?
That's a very good kasha. It's an alta kasha, but it's not for this shiur. And I myself don't have the exact answer, but I've asked us to grace a mention. Obviously, we have to say he has bechira. What's the pshat in his bechira? We have to understand. It's a very good question. Excellent question.
It's on a different level.
It doesn't say tzaddik.
I one time asked Rabbi Yoel Khan de Shaila, Zayin Gesund. He's one of the biggest masters of Chassidus, and Rabbi Yoel said, like, I asked him if you could say that the very fact that Enechanami, that tzaddik has bechira, the tzaddik does have bechira. He could physically go and do the aveda, but the aveda by him, he sees the aveda as like we view death. Just like we view death, we view misa something to stay away from. A normal person stays away from misa.
It's on the outside.
So for the tzaddik, it's not pshat. He physically is not capable of doing an aveda. He could, but the way he views an aveda is that it's mamish mavis. He looks at it the way we view physical death. He views it mamish like physical death. So it's not pshat. He doesn't have bechira. So I asked him if you could say this is the pshat, the bechira of a tzaddik. He told it to me that's not bechira. It's a shvacha bechira. The bechira has to be like the Rambam says that you have equal opportunity this way and that way. And he's the Maisa. It's not the subject right now. Let's get back to Bein HaMeitzarim. So anyways, this is a very geschmacky Yishalmi that the Grupp brings out over here about the importance of making a Shehecheyonu, which that's the pshat in this the pashta pshat in this Yishalmi, like all the Mefarshim explain. That is talking about fruits and making brachas on fruits, and this is he's not saying anything different. The Ramok said that you should make sure if you have a fruit you should make the bracha if you're not going to have it. Just the Gra is showing you the importance of it from the Yishalmi that akadekach also bitin sadin. If you don't make the Shehecheyonu. So it's something very important. Now let's take a look at the Gra inside. The Gra has a very good raya.
Is this page 2 also?
Let's look at page 2 actually, his raya. The Gra has a raya that you don't have to you shouldn't make a Shehecheyonu during that you're allowed to make a Shehecheyonu during Bein HaMeitzarim. What's his raya? On second page, in the middle we have Shulchan Aruch. It says Shulchan Aruch Chayim Smishchav Gimel. This is his raya that we'll read inside the Gra on the first page. There's a din in Shulchan Aruch Meis Aviv, if someone's father was Nebuch Nifter, Mevarich Dayan Ha'emes. You have to make the bracha Dayan Ha'emes. Hoyelei Mamim Shiyarshei, if you got a Yerusha, Im ein loy achim mevarach gamkin Shehecheyonu. If he doesn't have any brothers, it's a little bit messed up here with the line, the Nakudas here. But if he doesn't have brothers, he makes a Shehecheyonu. Also, besides for Dayan Emes, he's making a Shehecheyonu because he had a Basura Toiva, he got a Yerusha. But if he has brothers, whenever you have a good thing, which is not only good for you, it's good for other people too. So you make the bracha hatoiv v'hameitiv. He's good and good to others. So there's a benefit to it, a toiv to both. So there are a bunch of brothers, so all of them got a Yerusha. So you make a bracha hatoiv v'hameitiv. But he has no brothers, and besides for making Dayan Emes, you make a Shehecheyonu. Because the Shehecheyonu is the bracha you say when only there's one toiva. The Ramah explains, Hagosh, unless you have if you have a partnership in it, then you make hatoiva meitu. Otherwise, you make Shehecheyonu. Says the Gra. What do we see over here? This person just heard the worst thing in his life. He heard that Nebuch, his father, Rachmana litzlan, was nifter. He just heard this shmua. The very same time, he makes they made a Dayan Emes. Torah tells him you have to make a Shehecheyonu. You can't ignore the fact that the very moment you got a Yerusha, if you got a Yerusha, sometimes you can get a Yerusha of Chayvis, but if you got a Yerusha, if you were Yerush money, then you have a Chiyuv to make Shehecheyonu, you have to thank the Eibishter for it. So says the Gra, if you make a Shehecheyonu in such a moment, Kol Shekin v'Kal v'Choymer, you can make a Shehecheyonu to Bein HaMeitzarim. The Emes, the Magen Avraham really dealt with the Shaila. The Magen Avraham said that we don't find that the Oval is also to make Shehecheyonu. He did it a little bit differently. The Magen Avraham says that the reason is not because of Avelus, because we don't find anywhere that an Oval is not allowed to make a Shehecheyonu. This is how he wrote it. He didn't bring up from here. We don't find anywhere that an Oval is not allowed to make a Shehecheyonu. So therefore, what must be the reason why you shouldn't make Bein HaMeitzarim? It's because it's a Zman of Peronius. It's a bad time. The days are bad be'etzem, not because it's an Avelus. Avelus happens to be in this time. But it's not that the days be'etzem are bad. So he came up with a chiluk, the Magen Avraham. Between Avelus it's okay to make a Shehecheyonu, an oval. However, during Bein HaMeitzarim, which the actual days itself are negative days, and bad events occur to them for all the Klal Yisrael, then you don't make. The Gra doesn't like that chiluk. The Gra feels that that's a doichik. He feels if a person heard when he's an oval, he heard this shmu and he makes a Shehecheyonu, he for sure can make Bein HaMeitzarim. Let's take a look in the Gra inside, back to the first page, on the bottom where it says Bir HaGra.
I think that's why a tzaddik would make a Shehecheyonu Bein HaMeitzarim. By tzaddikim it says that the Beis HaMikdash is not destroyed. They don't have the Bein HaMeitzarim.
Not all tzaddikim, but Hashem by Yechai it says.
But wait a minute, so the Gra is saying it's out of Avelus.
The Gra says he doesn't see, he has a raya, a yois I see by an oval.
Yeah.
And not only an oval. Mamish b'shas, he heard the shmua.
Yeah.
Gufa, the worst shmua around.
Yeah.
He's supposed to say a Shehecheyonu.
Yeah.
Is Zichar Bein HaMeitzarim, he should make a Shehecheyonu.
So wait,
he disagrees with the Machaber and the Ramah.
So wait, could we say like this, that the Gra is saying a svara, that when you say Lazman Hazeh, it doesn't mean the Zman Kailul, it means the Zman that I'm doing this Simcha Tikazah. I'm thanking the Eibishter on that, not on the Eretz. And Eretz, the Sefer Hasidim would say that since we're holding in a Zman that's Dinam,
Shehecheyonu is Kail the day.
You shouldn't say it.
The Gra is learning very good, very well said. He's bringing out nicely. The Gra is learning that the Shehecheyonu is going on the actual Maisa. I'm just on the Yerusha. We don't look at the Shehecheyonu, we say Lizman Hazeh. This time. How could he say this time his father Nebuch was just nifter? Elamai, the Gra is learning Lizman Hazeh, we have to learn it's not referring to all the minutes. We're referring just to this idea that he heard now. It's a little bit doichik in the Nusach, but Lamaisa, Lizman Hazeh means this Maisa that he heard right now, the Yerusha. The fact that there was a Misa, we're going to split the time. That we're going to split the Zman. It would have been better to say Shehecheyonu Ligeyonu Lamaisa Hazeh or Lishmua Zu. Would have been easier. But the emes is a Toichan Advarim, it makes sense inside the Gra. But so the Nusach, it's a little bit more shred. Let's see the Gra inside. Aga, by the way, it's not Pshat, it's Mamash Choylik. The Shulchan Aruch itself never said it's an Isser. Shulchan Aruch said Toiv Lizar. It's a Chumrah. Toiv Lizar to say Shehecheyonu. The Gra is saying he feels that it's nishtazai. It's not mamish like he's going to be choylek on a clear din of Shulchan Aruch. Even the Taz, the Shulchan Aruch said toiv lizar. Come along the Taz and says he doesn't feel that way. And the Graf says he doesn't feel that way. Let's take a look at the Gra inside.
Well,
Yeah.
one thing. The chilik, you really said it. Zmanik Ranius. There should be a difference between Shehecheyonu, Zmanik Ranius, and you said separate the piece of the father.
Shilas if he could. Shilas if he could. The word is a lot of Zman Hazeh.
But there's no shaila on the other one that he can't. There might be a shaila by the misa if he could or not, but there's no shaila Zmanik Ranius that you can't. It's Zmanik Ranius.
No, but you're making on the beged. You're making on the beged and the fruit. Al derech the Yerusha, you made a shechir on the Yerusha, even though it's a bad time for you. You're an avol, you heard a shmur ra, but similarly, Bein HaMeitzarim, you make a Shehecheyonu, Bein HaMeitzarim, even though the day itself is bad. But at this minute, I just had a malbush chadash, a pri chadash. I should have to make a Shehecheyonu.
It's true, but it's the nusach. We just said it's a nusach, a bracha.
Yeah. So the tzad nusach, the gra shver. Mitzad the toichen ingen, let's take a look at the gra inside. It's on the bottom of the page, the very bottom, the Bein HaGra. It's 4 lines from the bottom. Oy samach. 4 lines from the bottom. Oy samach. The sif yud zayin toiv. The ending of the line. Yeah. Oilam sees 4 lines from the bottom of the page. Toiv chumra yiserehi. This is an extra chumra. The mechaber is giving us an extra chumra. The Einan Chamurim Me'evil Yom HaMisa. It's not, the Bein HaMeitzarim don't have a stricter status than the status of an Oval on the actual day of the Yom HaMisa. I mean, in Parak HaRaya, we see in Parak HaRaya, Amr Le'Meis Aviv, this is we saw in Shulchan Aruch. But the Gemara, it's based on a Gemara in Parak HaRaya in Brachas, that someone was told that his father was Nifter, then he has to make a Dayan Emes and a Shehecheyonu if he got a Yerusha. Dafka with someone else with him, he makes a taiva meitiv. So you see, you could make a Shehecheyonu. Even though Magen Avraham was doichik, he pushed himself in to make a chiluk between paranius and avelos. Ain't a club. I don't like the svara. What we read, that's Simrei Shchav Gimel Sebeis, which that's where the din is brought in Shulchan Aruch. You actually make a Shehecheyonu Yom HaMisa. So we have here that Magen Avraham keeps with the Shulchan Aruch. I mean, he doesn't. He sticks to the Shulchan Aruch, the Chaber, the Ramah, the Taz, and the Gra are choylek. And in the Machmirim itself, you have a machlokes, see on Shabbos is included or not. And L'maisa, the Magen Avraham says the first Shabbos of Shavas Batam is Zicher. Shabbos falls down in Shavas Batam on Shabbos. Zicher you could make a Shehecheyonu l'chol days. And if you have a chiyuv to make, regardless you have to make. L'mashal, Pidyon Ben, a Leidas Isha, those things you have a chiyuv to make.
All this dinim also for Tisha B'Av Mitcha? The same thing like Shvas Tammuz? Or this is different?
Well, the whole 3 weeks. The whole 3 weeks.
Bein HaMeitzarim.
Bein HaMeitzarim. You can't make Shehecheyonu. If Shavas B'Tammuz falls on the first Shabbos, so you push off the Tanis. So when did the Bein HaMeitzarim really start? The Bein HaMeitzarim start on Shabbos. So it seems from the Magen Avraham was learning, he held that the Bein HaMeitzarim starts the next day. So all the opinions would agree, even the Machmirim would agree that Shabbos is different. It's not part of the Bein HaMeitzarim. The Rebbe one time spoke that on every tainus there's 2 aspects to it. There's a negative aspect of what happened that day. Is the fact that that day is a special Yom Ratzon LaHashem. It's a day that we can seek out Hashem because Hashem we're more beloved by Hashem. It's the Yom Ratzon. So the Rebbe said the negative aspect of the tainus is pushed off to Sunday, but the good aspects don't have to be pushed off. So the good aspect of the tainus, that's a Yom Ratzon Hashem, stays on the Shabbos. Wow. So Shabbos you still have the Maila where you can use out that date. Because there's no reason that should be Nitcha. That's not a Peronius.
It's even similar to the Sudas, you should do Sudas Shlomo Kusar.
Shlomo HaMelech B'Shato, yeah.
Right.
To show not
by Tisha B'Av, yeah. No, if you're used to it, you're not dafke. If you're used to it. If you always have such a chashuv suda, don't memait. But you're not supposed to dafke. You can't do any avelos on Tisha B'Av, which is this year. This year, everything's in Shabbos. Shavas B'Tam is Tisha B'Av. you're allowed to have a full shalosh seudas like you're regular, but you're not allowed to make a big party. Nothing more than the average. Just if someone is used to is a rich person, always has an unbelievable suda, like Shlomo Melech used to have, you're allowed to have it still.
Like if you have a basement of over here.
So yeah. And if you don't have it, it's a problem. So you have to tell Rabbi Yosef that you can't cut down on that kiddush. It will be a shaila of avelos b'fahesi on Shabbos. All the meals, but especially the last one, because that's the time when normally we have a suda mafsekis. So,
Never mind.
We'll go to Meirev, but let's just give over another. Now, the Maisa, I would just give over like this. Kiva Eger said like this: those that are matter in Shabbos, they should also matter in Reish Chodesh. Chodesh Av. Chodesh Av falls on Friday, right? So Chodesh Av, it's also mutter like the matir. You're allowed to make a on a Pri Chodesh. Interesting enough, the Chassam Sofer says like this. Chassam Sofer, he likes the svar of the Taz about this idea that someone possibly could pass away. But Surik, he says it's lav dafke where choishish a person is going to pass away every day. He says you could give him a few days. It brings some different rayas from the Gemara that we're not chayish so short. You chayish for a little longer time. Therefore, he says, since there are those people that are matter, and he always to say on Shabbos, saying nechanami there are machmirim, and our Rizal it was machmir on Shabbos. However, since there's a svara to say that even during the week you could do it, like the Taz says, because maybe a chas v'shalom person won't be around. So al kolpanin during the week we're not going to say the svara, but we'll use that svara to say that al kolpanin don't push off for another week. So Shabbos combines that svara with Shabbos, and on Shabbos you can make according to the Chassam Sofer. That's Chassam Sofer's svara.
I was like a svek speaker.
Another thing is that the Chassam Sofer also said that. No, I'll tell you the truth. It's more that the Chassam Sofer has rayas that he feels that we're not chayish this chash. We're chayish that a person, v'chlal people could chas v'shalom be nifter. We're not chayish it every day. This day, this moment. So if you could say a week goes by, you could say, yeah, a week is a longer period of time. It's right. He has rayas in place in the Shas. That as man kotzer we're not chayish, but as man aruch we're chayish. So therefore the Shash would apply for Shabbos. But it's not clear when the date would apply. For a longer time we're chayish. Where is that longer time? It's not clear. Some Sefer says that we have a sheet that's matir on Shabbos. So we'll put it together and we'll say that on Shabbos you can.
Why did you say it depends on the week? If you have Rishon, this is closer to the first part, and then this is closer to the second part. So it's no one says it.
He likes the svara, but a certain limit to it, and with the svara, with the second svara to a Shabbos together.
When someone brings wine to the table, do we say we only say a table baited if there's other people at the table? You understand
look at the dinim, yeah. We're not knowing this way anyway, so we have to look up the din. Now, there's two more nekudas. L'maisa, the Chassam Sofer also brings up that the Taz in Hilchas Chanukah, which says that an oval should not make the Shehecheyonu on the Chanukah licht. The first day we make a Shehecheyonu, the first night. L'chora, why shouldn't the oval make a Shehecheyonu?
They saw everything we said.
Well, he didn't bring down the gra, but the Taz says that either way, if you're going to lose the bracha, according to all opinions, you're going to lose the bracha. Right. Forget about the Vilna Gaon who's saying that you should make it the whole Bein HaMeitzarim. But even the Mechaber Amo who says that toiv not to make the Shehecheyonu, you should be zar not to make it. Even they agree that if you're going to lose the opportunity, you have to make it. You're not allowed to lose the opportunity. Over here, if you don't make the first night of Chanukah, the Abel doesn't make, he's in a Shiva, he's going to lose the opportunity. So L'chora, and to L'chora steer, the Taz says this over there, and the steer to this Taz was very mekel. So L'maisa, the way the Chassam Sofer says is that it must be that Taz is talking about dafke when the Abel wants to say it in public, in shul. If he's davening for the Amud and they ask him to go light the Chanukah licht in shul, there you shouldn't make the Shehecheyonu.
What's David
But
doing?
the how there you have no chiv. Someone else can make it in your own house by your own Chanukah licht. That if you have to say the Shehecheyonu.
What's David doing in shul? There's no meaning.
I guess if there was no, or maybe even the etzem fact that he's in shloishim, the very fact that he's shloishim is a bad time for him, even if it's not avail shiva. It's also a negative time for him. The Zman Hazeh this time.
You talk about shleishim. You said there's manavelis till now. We never brought down shleishim.
Right, but you see from the Chassam Sofer attack it seems more. One more Nekoda L'Maisa Sefer Menhagim Chabad. The minig Chabad is that we don't say Shehecheyonu on Shabbos also, like the Arizal.
Yeah.
Bein HaMeitzarim. However, during Sviras Oimer, we're make on Shabbos. Sviras Oimer, we don't make a Shehecheyonu,
Right.
but on Shabbos and like Ba'oimer, we do. Bein HaMeitzarim, even on Shabbos, we go like the Machmir and we don't make a Shehecheyonu even on Shabbos. That can.
Available the whole year, not just up to 30 days.
Right? It could be even available the whole year, it could be problematic.